It is the Sports Fix here on Flow FM, and I'm about to, I don't know how else to describe this, but say I get to talk about one of my favourite pastimes. So this is kind of cool. Table tennis doesn't get much of a run in the world of sports here in Australia, and it should. We've got some very, very good table tennis players getting around our Flow network, and one of them is on the line with me right now. She will be representing Australia at the coming Commonwealth Games, and she is a star. Amanda Tscharke, welcome to the Sports Fix. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Jace. How are you?
Going beautifully, mate. In a different world, I'm sure we would have met in the flesh by now. We all know that we know the same people, but we just haven't crossed paths yet, have we?
No, we haven't. Apparently we have a joint relationship with some legends in our lives.
Well, there's legends maybe in their own lunchbox, perhaps. Not quite as good as yourself. I want to talk more about your coach Lowy in a moment, David Lowe, but I want to talk about you to start with. Let's talk about your journey to where you are right now. You were involved in a pretty devastating motorcycle crash many years ago. It left you in a wheelchair, didn't it? That must have been awful.
Yeah. So I was 15 years of age in Year 10 at Kunda High School. The accident happened out near the Rubber Forest, actually. It was just one of those freak accidents that have a change of life path, I guess. But it certainly hasn't stopped me.
Absolutely not. Let's talk about your table tennis journey, because that's set the scene, so to speak, for the incredible recovery that has come since that time. Now, when did you start playing table tennis? Was it before or after the accident?
No, it was only after the accident. I've actually been on the Australian Paralympic team for table tennis for only 6 years now. After my accident, I needed to go back to school, finish schooling. From there, went down the career path and family path as well. So it was 10 years ago when my high school wellness coordinator came to me at my daughter's tiny tots for athletics and suggested maybe I start going on a Paralympic pathway, and we began doing Javelin.
Right. Now, Alana Gregory is a young lady who's just done great things at under 18 level in the able-bodied sphere. But how did you go with the Javelin? Did it agree with you trying to throw that thing around? I could never get it to land the right way up. Clearly, you're a bit more talented than I am, though. But how did you go with that?
Well, practice makes perfect, but I did quite well. I was popped onto the team there and broke the Australian record twice. So we had a fair bit of success there, but due to health concerns, we needed to just step sideways into another discipline that was a little bit kinder to my body.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the Javelin, isn't it? It is brutal on the arm and back and all kinds of things. You basically throw the thing with as much torque, involving the rest of your body as you possibly can. So with injuries and whatnot, I imagine it would have taken its toll for a period.
Yeah, it certainly does. And it's a high-intensity bulk training kind of sport to be involved in. So there was a lot of time spent at the gym, a lot of time, rain, hail or shine, outdoors, throwing in the bitter cold, in the stifling heat. Getting a little bit older in life, I thought it was time to take things a little bit kinder and, take that opportunity to enter into the world of table tennis.
Why not? So, do you remember your first hit and how it went? Who was it with and where was it?
Oh, I do remember. It was with Kathy Lambert, actually, in my carport, and I was horrible. It's a joke amongst my family and friends at that time that I had a lack of hand-eye coordination, but that actually improved, so it seems. But it's been a fantastic sport to get involved in. The local Barossa Club, Woodville, which is my home club, let alone the Australian table tennis team and Paralympics Australia.
So the journey that you've been on now, from the time that you started playing table tennis to today, how long has it been?
Or 6 years in total, yeah.
It's staggering to think that you've picked up a bat basically for the first time in anger 6 years ago, and at the moment you're putting on the green and gold, about to head off to the Commonwealth Games, and with a little bit of luck, the Paralympics in Paris in a couple of years' time. I mean, the wheels and roundabouts of the world, right?
Absolutely. It's and that goes to show the support that you can receive from the clubs and the people around you. It really does make a difference, and the places you can go.
Now, you mentioned your home clubs there in the Barossa Valley and at Woodville. First of all, the Barossa has a very well-known competition, a wonderful tournament too, which I have managed to avoid in my time playing table tennis up until this point. But tell us about the competition there. Do you get around and play in it, and what sort of support do you get from them?
It has been fantastic. It's a very inclusive club. I'm the only wheelchair-bound athlete within the Barossa. So all the fellow competitors have been really inviting, very competitive. They certainly don't hold back when we are in the midst of the fifth set going 10-all, but it's fantastic. And again, you get to move around to different venues, get to see different people. It's a really good opportunity to have exposure to different players as well from a competitive point of view.
We watched Dylan Alcott win title after title in tennis and have marvelled at his career. But what are the challenges for playing table tennis up to a table against an able-bodied person? Because obviously tennis, slightly different story as well. A guy down the other end of the court can be doing his thing whilst Dylan can be at the other end of the court doing his thing. There'd be challenges playing anybody able-bodied as well. But the court size, the structure of the court, they have barriers and stuff like that in the way. Is there much modification to make for wheelchair athletes when it comes to table tennis?
No, there's none at all. So we play on a standard size table. The rules are exactly the same except for one, which is on the serve, it cannot be a backspin serve. So as you would be aware, that when it lands on your opponent's side of the table, it can't come back towards the server. It must roll towards the end of the table.
All right. So to go with that, clearly there's an opportunity to work on skills through training. And you'd mentioned the Barossa there and how they look after you. But the coaching, a lot of it, at an elite pathway always takes place, unfortunately, in cities. It's what our regional athletes have to go through, whether they're living with a disability or able-bodied. It doesn't matter. You need to get to the city to get elite coaching. You've been able to find that at the Woodville Table Tennis Club, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they have been incredibly inclusive. They are the home of the South Australian para table tennis team, so they've got plenty of wheelchair tables which don't have kind of legs that get in our way underneath the table for our wheelchairs. David was one of the driving forces behind establishing that group here in SA, and of course it's where our Sam Von Idem, our dual silver medalist, is also based there at Woodville.
Fantastic. When it comes to table tennis in general, South Australia actually has a pretty good pedigree. Not many people might not know this. We've had him on the program before, but the head of Table Tennis Australia, of course, Scott Houston, is a South Australian. We've had many Olympians and Paralympians hail from these parts and do massive things at world level. Can I ask you this? The Chinese, when it comes to table tennis, are we any chance of beating them anytime soon?
Let's face it, they're guns. Like, they are just phenomenal.
It's a different planet they're on, aren't they?
Absolutely. They are very tough competitors indeed. And, I'm sure we will knock them off at some stage. Maybe not myself, but I'm sure there'll be somebody with the green and gold that's able to do it.
Well, you don't have to worry about them in the Commonwealth Games at least, but there are some very talented athletes across the Commonwealth as well. I mean, it's a proud time anytime you get to don the green and gold. But who are you looking forward to playing the most at the Commonwealth Games? Have you singled someone out and thought, yeah, I can't wait to play you, I reckon I can get you? Have you had a chance to look that far ahead yet?
I have Susan Bailey, who I have watched for a number of years now, in the Commonwealth Games, but also in the Paralympic World Championships. She has been around forever. She's a British player. She is extraordinarily humble, extraordinarily beautiful, and I will actually have the opportunity to play her. And that would be the game I'm most looking forward to.
Well, I'm looking forward to watching it. I'm going to get along and watch you train because, look, so many times it becomes a cliche when we get an opportunity to interview somebody in your position. We talk about how inspiring a story it is, and it is. I'm not putting that down in any way, shape or form. But the other thing this is, it's a table tennis story. It's a sporting story, and it's nowhere near over yet. I'm looking forward to following it with you, Amanda, and we wish you all the very best. We're proud of you. Look forward to watching you play, and go well.
I will. Thank you so much for your support.